Well. So it was Sunday evening. So were you sitting back watching March Madness and the overtime game between Duke and Kansas, that thrilling game? Or were you watching CBS thinking, what is going on, man? I need to see my Stormy Daniels interview here, please. What's with this basketball? Or were you someone who pretty much ignored both and just went about your business for your Sunday evening? I don't know. I can't tell you. But one thing I can tell you for certain is the Daily Dope is in the air. All right, well, that wasn't a great start. I had moved my keyboard a little bit, so I went to go hit the button that segues into the opening, and nothing was happening. And I glanced down. I'm like, oh, because I'm hitting the wrong button. Hey, what can you say? It's a live show. All right, so I am Jeff McAleer. I'm your host of The Daily Dope, as well as the Grand Poobah of thegaminggang.com. So, welcome aboard if you haven't popped in before to catch the show. I do stream live Monday through Friday, most Mondays through Friday. We've had a little bit of a hiccup recently because of my health, but we should be okay for half this week, and then going out, I think we should be okay for the most part. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Anyway, I do want to mention that there is chat available on Twitch as well as YouTube. So feel free to swing by, say hello, chime in. I am going to be cracking open of Dreams and Shadows. This is a pretty hefty game. This has got some serious F to it. And this is from Greenbrier Games. I believe it is arriving in stores pretty much now or very shortly. So we're going to take a first look at that. And it is a dark fantasy game. It's a cooperative game for 2 to 6 players. It's got a bit of a horror element to it as well. All right, not a ton of news, which I'm kind of surprised because we had the Gamma Trade Show and there were quite a few outlets who were covering it. But I'm seeing very little news from different outlets. Some companies are kind of trickling things out from Gamma, but not a whole lot. But anyway, I do have some news today, so let's pop on in and get started with that without any further ado. This summer, Restoration Games will be retheming and revamping the mid-1970s game Who's It as a social deduction game entitled Dinosaur Tea Party. And I've got the dope. You're looking well, darling. One lump or two. It's the most sought after invitation of the year. Dinoton Abbey for high tea. Get it? Get it? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Dinoton Abbey. Now you're all gussied up in your finery and ready for some tea and chit chat. One problem, you can't remember anyone's name. Who's that sporting the fancy brooch with her pet chicken? Is that Janine? Beatrice? Oh dear. If you're not careful, you'll commit a faux pas everyone will be gossiping about. Dinosaur Tea Party is a game of pure deduction for 2 to 5 Homo sapiens. Each player takes a card corresponding to one of the dino guests. Players take turns asking each other questions or guessing their dinosaur's name. If someone guesses your name, draw a new card. The first player to guess 3 names will win the game. The game comes with 20 tiles, 20 cards, 14 cubes, and 78 tokens. It's intended really for 3 to 5 players ages 7 and up and plays in about 30 minutes or less. The MSRP will be $19.95 when it releases this August. So I would not be surprised to see this maybe pop up at Gen Con this year. And so far, what is this? Is this the 3rd game announced from Restoration Games? Because they have the racing game that looks really cool. And then they've got the The volcano game. Oh, off the top of my head, I can't think of what it is. But it looks really cool because it's got the 3D sculpted island. I think it's Return to Volcano Island. Maybe that's it. So this is yet another title that is getting a complete retheme from Restoration Games, as opposed to just giving it some extra chrome. So kind of interesting. Should be one to keep an eye out for the kids. All right. Well, let's see. So last week we saw Star Trek Legion launch, and I know a lot of people were waiting for that Skirmish Miniatures game, and it didn't take Fantasy Flight Games very long to actually announce 2 more expansions that should be available very shortly. Fantasy Flight Games is proud to announce the Han Solo Commander expansion for Star Wars Legion, and I've got the dope. From his first introduction in a seedy cantina on Tatooine to his unorthodox leadership of the Rebel Strike Team on Endor, Han Solo is one of the most beloved heroes of the Star Wars saga. Over the years, he's played a lot of roles: gambler, smuggler, scoundrel, and finally, general of the Rebel Alliance. Soon you'll be able to have Han Solo leading your Rebel troopers and vehicles into battle, and he's got the skills to ensure that you can always shoot first. Within the Han Solo Commander expansion, Rebel leaders will find everything they need to add Han Solo as a commander to their Star Wars Legion armies. A single, unpainted, easily assembled miniature features Han Solo with his DL-44 heavy blaster pistol drawn and ready to fire. 3 new upgrade cards give you the tools to outfit Han Solo or another unit for battle, and 3 command cards let you bring Han's trademark daring and braggadocio to the field. Releasing alongside the Rebel Commandos unit expansion, these 2 expansions let you create your own battles on Endor or any other planet from the Star Wars galaxy. The MSRP for the Han Solo expansion is $12.95. There is also the Commando Squad, and the Rebel Alliance can recruit new members from across the galaxy, finding pilots, soldiers, and medics among those who hate the Empire. Plenty of beings can take up a blaster rifle to fight stormtroopers, but there are a few who are willing to push the boundaries and do whatever it takes to keep the rebellion alive. Saboteurs, snipers, the Rebel Alliance's most dangerous operatives, now entering the infantry battles played out in your games of Star Wars Legion. Within the Rebel Commandos unit expansion, you'll find a squad of 7 unpainted, easily assembled Rebel Commando miniatures. You may field this unit as a full standard unit on your battlefield, or a small team operating on the edges of the map or behind enemy lines. But no matter how you position the Rebel Commandos, their unorthodox tactics and powerful weapons can sway the battle in the Rebellion's favor. With 5 distinct upgrade cards that can be added to the Rebel Commandos or another unit, you'll find everything you need to put fear in Imperial hearts with this expansion for Star Wars Legion. Of course, the MSRP on this is $24.95. I have to admit, I have not really heard a lot of feedback about Star Wars Legion yet. I have not, obviously it's an FFG game. I'm never going to get to review it, so we're not going to concern ourselves with that. But I will mention the pricing for the 7 commandos, $25 basically. That's pretty fair for 7 miniatures. Then again, you got the Han Solo figure, and it's $13 for 1 mini? I don't know, something a little weird in the pricing there. But of course, I guess FFG figures, well, everybody's going to want to get Han Solo. And of course, it's Han Solo from Return of the Jedi that is being modeled here. So I'm sure they've got another Han Solo from Star Wars up their sleeves. I'm sure FFG has tons of stuff up their sleeves for Star Wars Legion. All right, let's move on to some role-playing game news, because the final installment of the classic Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay campaign, The Enemy Within, has arrived in PDF, and I've got the dope on Empire in Flames. The Emperor is weak, maybe, ready to abdicate. The Empire is torn by internal strife. Old hatreds are remembered and new ones invented. Summoned to meet the Graf of Middenheim, the adventurers are embroiled in high politics and sudden death. Civil war looms, and a symbol of unity must be found before too much blood is spilled. The legendary Hammer of Sigmar, the founder of the Empire. With time, the adventurers must travel deep into Blackfire Mountains, following a trail which is 2,500 years old. This 144-page adventure is the concluding part of the Enemy Within campaign for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Keeping in mind, this is the first edition that Cubicle 7 has reprinted. Optional starting points are included so that this adventure may be played as a continuation of Power Behind the Throne or Something Rotten in Kislev. Also included are 8 pages of player handouts. This PDF reissues the Games Workshop edition of Empire in Flames. We've painstakingly scanned every page and created a PDF that maintains the appearance of the original. This does not make for a this does make for a slightly larger file than we'd normally produce, but on this occasion, we think it's worth it for all the great first edition feel. The PDF is also extensively bookmarked for ease of reference. You can get your hands on the conclusion of The Enemy Within for $9.99 at Drive-Thru RPG. I have to point out that when the first edition of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay was out there, now you got to keep in mind this was back when Games Workshop didn't have tons and tons of miniatures games. They were kind of mainly focused on RPGs. They did have some minis games out. I think they had just Warhammer Fantasy at that point. But the Enemy Within campaign has always been a really highly regarded campaign, regardless of setting and regardless of system. So, not too difficult for you to kit bash the Enemy Within campaign to another game. I'm not saying which one, but any fantasy role-playing game, really. So, also, I want to point out that if you swing over to Drive-Thru RPG, we are an affiliate, and if you're going there, please stop by thegaminggang.com, click on one of our banners, and if you happen to make a purchase, we get a small portion of that sale, and it all adds up. All right, for my final news piece, there is a role-playing game that's currently up for funding on Kickstarter that looks pretty interesting. It's from Burning Games, and it is just shy of its funding goal. And I have the dope on Dragons Conquer America. Dragons Conquer America is a classic role-playing game with high adventure, monsters, and epic struggle between the mortal and supernatural worlds. It will allow you to play stories about adventurers who explore the Mesoamerican lands, hunt devilish monsters, and discover ancient ruins. Create your character from one of the 13 available orders, cast powerful faith-based spells, safeguard yourself from corruption and curses, outgrow your prejudices, and unravel long-forgotten mysteries. Dragons Conquer America takes you back to a warped fantasy version of 1512 Mesoamerica, a few years after the first Europeans reached its lands. At that point in time, this region of Central America is a melting pot of cultures and identities, bound by the might of the Mexica, aka the Aztec Empire, and threatened by the terrible evils that lurk in the depths of the mossy jungle. Rumors of foreboding omens seep through the grapevine and keep children up at night. Dreadful monsters and decadent phantoms ignite fear and fury among peasants and monarchs alike. The promise of gold and glory forges the most unlikely hunting parties as adventurers from different nations and even continents join forces to vanquish the darkness from the world. All this happens under the deceitful gaze of the dragons, both American feathered and European scale-bound, whose ultimate endgame, if they have any, is yet to be uncovered. Now, Burning Games does have a short Kickstarter video And like I said, this looks like a pretty interesting setting. So let's take a peek.
It is the year 1512. Mesoamerica is a melting pot of cultures and identities, bound by the might of the Mexica Empire and threatened by the terrible evils that lurk in the depths of the mossy jungle. Rumors of foreboding omens seep through the grapevine and keep children up at night. Dreadful monsters and decadent phantoms ignite fear and fury among peasants and monarchs alike. The promise of gold and glory forges the most unlikely hunting parties as Jaguar warriors, tomb raiders, aristocrats, temple guards, hidalgos, dragon rider nuns, and priests from different religions join forces to vanquish the darkness from the world. And all of this happens under the deceitful gaze of the dragons, both American feathered and European scalebound, whose ultimate endgame is yet to be uncovered. Will dragons conquer America?
Hello Kickstarter, and welcome to a new Burning Games project. This time around, we aim to bring you an awesome core book for our newest tabletop role-playing game, Dragons Conquer America. It's a game of historical fantasy set in Mesoamerica during the 16th century. With core mechanics based on the award-winning system of faith, but no choice between cards and six-sided dice to resolve your actions, it has a host of thematic classes and immersive subsystems. The game itself is almost done, but it's missing something of utmost importance: you. With your help, we will be able to finish writing the setting as well as commission the best artists to complete the book. We have great plans for this game, but with your pledges, they can become even greater. So join us and let's make an epic game together.
As I mentioned, it looks pretty interesting. Now, as of this show, as of me talking to you right now live, the Kickstarter is about $4,000 short of its goal, but it still has quite a ways to go. It's trying to remember. I think it's like April 5th. Nah, maybe April 12th. I don't know. I know it's got maybe a couple of weeks to still run. Anyway, so basically all I'm saying is that I believe it's gonna fun because it's really, really close. You can secure the Dragons Conquer America core book, as well as the 8 Omens campaign book and the Conquistadors Gold campaign book, all in PDF at the $48 pledge level. There are some other items out there as well. You can get physical books, so on and so forth. And I believe the estimated delivery on this is August 2018 for the PDFs. Because I believe Burning Games tried to kickstart this prior and missed their goal. And if you're not familiar with Burning Games, they do that Faith role-playing game that I've heard some really good things about as far as being a science fiction role-playing game. All right, so there you have it. That is the news for today. Like I said, a little quiet on the news front. I was a little bit surprised. But hey, I at least got a little bit out there for you. So, before I jump into the unboxing and the first look of Dreams and Shadows, I wanted to cover just a couple of things. Now, first off, I think it's kind of interesting. Tonight, I am going to be well vested in 19th century television, or at least 19th century themed television, because television wasn't around in the 19th century. So tonight is the conclusion of The Alienist over on TNT. I have really, really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the finale. And there's also the premiere of The Terror on AMC. Something I'm very familiar with because I read the book. And if you were watching The Walking Dead last night, you had the opportunity to watch the first hour of the premiere because AMC is going to do a 2-hour premiere. So it's basically the first 2 of the 10 episodes will air tonight. But I didn't want to spoil it. I was like, no, okay, I'm done watching The Walking Dead. I'm cool with that. I want to see the 2-hour premiere of The Terror. And I'm going to say right off the bat, if you're planning on watching The Terror on AMC, do not wiki the Franklin Expedition. Do not look up the Franklin Expedition because you are going to be... I would think your enjoyment of the series will really be affected by that. So, and the thing is, I know as the show progresses, people are going to just be like, oh, I gotta find out what happens. Because it's based on true events. The Terror is based on true events. So I'm real curious how Ridley Scott is going to pull off, how well they're going to pull off kind of the twist, which is in the novel itself. I'm looking forward to this, and I hear the acting is pretty spectacular, and it's got 3 of my favorite character actors working today in it. So it should be pretty cool. All right. I also want to mention, still got a giveaway going on for the premium edition, the hardcover of Amazing Tales, written by Martin Lloyd. It is an RPG that is aimed for smaller children, and it is a perfect way to introduce children to role-playing games, and you just simply replace kind of story time at the end of the evening or when you're having, kind of snuggle time or whatever. It's a really cool little book. And I am giving my copy away because I don't have small children. So it's pretty easy to win. All you need to do is simply comment on any of the videos this week or either Thursday or Friday's show last week. Easy peasy, folks. All you got to do is comment, and I will choose. And this is on YouTube. Sorry, got to tell you, it's on YouTube. So, and then I will choose a winner, and they will be able to take this on home. I will send that out to them. All right, for the rest of the week, I do want to point out I do have a cardiologist's appointment on Thursday. So that's on Thursday afternoon. In fact, it's at the exact time that I would normally be doing the show. So there will not be a Thursday show this week. I don't know if there's going to be a Friday show because I don't know what they've got planned for me. Now, I do know that one of the cardiologists that had basically done my stent, I should say, said that she wanted to put in a second stent. I don't know when they want to do that. Probably sooner rather than later. But I highly doubt if they're going to say, oh, well, we got to do it this weekend. So there might be a Friday show. All depends on what happens. So just wanted to let folks know. So what I'm going to do tomorrow, I am going to review Thanos Rising, Avengers Infinity War. So I will be reviewing this tie-in. Then on Wednesday, it's War Game Wednesday. I don't know. I have not had a chance to play 1870 at any cost, Metz 1870, the Franco-Prussian war game from my good friend Herman Luttman and the fine folks over at GMT. So what I might do is I might just do kind of an overview, and I think I'm going to do Phantom Leader from Dan Versen Games. They haven't given any love to DVG, and they make some really cool stuff. So I think I might do kind of an overview of it, just to kind of show it off. I'm not going to get into like the nitty gritty of gameplay or anything like that, but it is an excellent solo game, and it is very cool. All right, grabbing a quick sip here. All right, so anyway, once again, chat's available on Twitch as well as YouTube. So I'm going to take a look at Of Dreams and Shadows. If you're watching live and you want a closer look at something, or maybe have me kind of peek at the rules a little bit more in depth, just let me know. This is basically being unboxed because it is in shrink, and I don't know a whole lot about Of Dreams and Shadows. So let's swing on over here to the other camera. All right, so it's a dark fantasy game for 2 to 6 players. It is designed by Gordon Alford, and it carries an MSRP of $59.95. I have to be honest, I could have swore I saw an online retailer had it for $40. I don't know. That seems like a pretty steep discount. So I don't know. I don't know if it was legit or not. All right, so we've got a little bit on the back here. An immersive story, a shared experience. Oh, look. Is that. Look at that typo right there. That's pretty funny. So it's a shared experience because instead of an E at the end, it's a C. Oh, how funny is that? Ah, yeah. Hey, that's okay. I mean, that's going to affect the gameplay. All right. Explore a magical world that will lead players on a journey from the underworld ruins of a long dead people to the heart of untamed forests where otherworldly creatures dwell. Of Dreams and Shadows is a cooperative board game for up to 6 players who take on the roles of champions, embarking on a quest to save their realm. Gameplay, I understand, takes about 2 to 3 hours, somewhere in that vicinity. And it is for ages 14 and up. And I believe there are 3 different big baddies. So you get to select which one of the big baddies you're going up against when you bust up the game. So I'm really curious about Of Dreams and Shadows because I really dig Folklore of the Affliction. And I'm kind of curious how this is different. Now, I understand, I believe, I can't say I'm positive, but I do believe that Of Dreams and Shadows has been in development for quite some time. So let's take a look. And as I mentioned before, this is a pretty meaty box. This is pretty hefty box. All right, so we've got a game world book. We've got a revised rule book. I wonder if Of Dreams and Shadows was published, self-published or something like that previously. I don't know. All right, looks like we've got a game board here. We've got a... Well, yeah, seems like we've got quite a few counters. Now, let's take a look. Pretty cool artwork, too. Nice. I'll tell you what, let's take a look at the rulebook first. I don't know, I'm going to take a look here. Is this kind of like create your own adventure? No, it's just talking about the world. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I was just a little concerned for a moment. So let's take a look at the rules here. So we've got table of contents, credits. The rulebook is not very thick. Talking about the game components. Look at all that stuff packed in here. All those goodies. Game setup. Talking about the setup here. Champion symbols. The overview. My understanding is this kind of has sort of an RPG feel to it. A GM-less RPG sort of setup. I'm not positive, because like I said, I don't really know much about this game. Usually I have a bit of an advanced kind of lowdown from Julie Ahern over at Greenbrier, especially when I see her at conventions. But when I saw her at Gen Con, this is not a title we talked about. So it's kind of, for me, this kind of came out of the blue. So talking about how to play, special actions, purge shadows, traveling, invoke a spell, resource cards. Oh, this artwork is pretty sweet. The combat phase. I think there are about 30 different baddies in this that you take on. Talking about the scenario phase, completing the scenario, affliction cards, the event phase, frequently asked questions. Doesn't seem to be. Let's take another look through here. This is setup. An overview. Okay, so there we go. There's an explanation of the different phases. As far as, because I was like, well, wait a second, where's like the turn order? What's going on here? So that is in the rule book. I wonder if there's going to be a little, like, player aid. Then we got the game world. Looks like this is just going to be some fluff, some background, some text, just to give you a better feel for this fantasy world. When I first saw this game, I thought this was actually more of a modern game, but it is not. It is a kind of fantasy, probably European style. Let's take a look at some of these tokens here. Pretty cool. And of course, obviously, they're going to be dual-sided. Huh. But it does not necessarily tell you what each of these up top are. Looks like there's some duplicates. Okay. Then we've got this one here. I wonder if there's standees for these. I mean, I should say, I wonder if these are standees. If they've got little stands to slide these into. We've got these different tokens down on the bottom. We got green arrows going forward. We got U-turns. Let's get a closer look at some of these. Kind of cool. Very cool. All right. So we got this one. Now it looks like we've got some dupes of the creatures again here. We saw this one before. We've seen these before too. These look new. Saw any of those previously. Saw that before. Let's see what we got. All right. Yeah, I'm telling you, there are quite a lot of these. Wow. All right, some more duplicates, some more new ones too. I don't think we saw that creature before. Nice. Very cool. Although, I'm going to take a guess that it might be, I don't know. Obviously, I have not played the game, but there's got to be some way to know what these creatures are. These look like maybe zombies or skeletons or something like that. I'm a little surprised that there isn't something written on these, but hey, that's okay. All right, what do we got here? What do we got here? Oh, some more creatures that we have not seen before. Like, I don't know if those are ghosts of some sort, ghasts. I don't know. I wonder if these are heroes. I don't know. For some strange reason, I think there's werewolves involved. And I think maybe one of the big baddies is a werewolf. These kind of look like werewolves? And then there's also the expansion, The Monster Within. And I believe that kind of deals with lycanthropy. Is it lycanthropy? I believe is the pronunciation of that. These are a little bit different. Now it looks like we're going to get into the heroes. So, and some other new opponents. So it looks like we've got it's almost like a pack of bears. Some sort of almost like a boar creature. Yeah, if we look further down, now I believe we start seeing the heroes. So I'm going to take a guess. The heroes may run through here, down to here. Because it's for up to 6 players, so I would take a guess that there might be an option for more than 6 heroes. That there's, you know, a few extras. Well, taking a look at these tokens, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, so there are 8. See these right here? Didn't even notice those. I wonder if these track like special abilities that you have to like cool down or recharge or what have you. Looks like this is health. at the back. Oh, and it's copyright 2015. Gordon Alford. Wonder what that token's for. All right, so yeah, quite a lot of those. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, all right, I thought so. There's the standees. So we've got red and black bases, a couple of black D6s. Got some baggies, so that's cool. Looks like we've got some item cards. Got different icons on the back. Different artwork on the back. So looks like these are heroes. Probably heroes and creatures. The dragon. Alright, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at these bigger cards first. So we're seeing here, there's a champion. There's an affiliation, starting location, starting resources, protector, special action, and then it shows here, very RPG-ish, all the various different attributes. Okay. Very cool, though. I mean, these cards are big. What? I mean, almost the size of my hand. So you've got a Hadrian. Just the back in here. Freya. Kind of like, almost kind of like a Viking warrior. Anton. Got Nora. I'm taking a guess that Nora is probably sort of a rogue, magic user maybe. Tamlin. Natasha. You've got Celine. And this same character is actually on the cover for The Monster Within. Then we've got, is it Brahm? Yeah, Brahm. It's also the champion. So we've got Oblivion, Death and Rebirth, A World Remade, Justice. Are these like scenarios? Let's take a look at the back. Okay, so these look like these are creatures. Oh, these are the three big bads. So we've got the dragon, Morrigan, and Aaron. Looks like a ghostly king, undead king. And these have two sides. Cool. All right, so those are the three big bads that you're going to choose from. All right, what we got here? All right, I'm taking a guess these are creatures from the backing. Let's go. Do these all have? Yeah, maybe not. A Play of Light and Shadow. The Deathless. These are like scenario cards. Source of the Plague. Sterile to Oblivion. I'm not going to spoil the game by taking a look at all of these, but the Eerie. A dark offer. I've got an offer you can't refuse. It's dark. Cool. Nightfall. Alright. Then it looks as if these cards here, it says story ending victory. So depending on the big baddie you're taking on, you're going to place this off to the side. And then we've got story ending defeat. It's going to tell you what happened. Got a bunch of text. It'll tell you, hey, this is what happened because you guys are awesome. You won. You guys suck. You lost. So, nice. All right, so we got, so these are the endings. These appear to be like, I'm saying scenarios. I don't know. Maybe they're kind of turning points in the story because this is a very story-based game as far as I understand. So we've got that. Then we've got the big baddies. And then we've got the champions. So that's what we got in that stack. Now, I should say. Then we've got these cards that are a little bit smaller, but these are still big. So this is bigger than tarot size. That is, I can tell you right now, that is bigger than tarot card size. So you might have a hard time tracking down sleeves for these really big cards. Let's see what we got with these. So we've got the tree on the back here. Got that. Okay, and then we've got, it's like a castle almost. So I wonder if these are kind of like encounters, right? So maybe these are city encounters. Maybe these are wilderness encounters. I know there's the underground, so I'm taking a guess this is for the underground here, this stack. And then we've got a windmill. So I have no idea what that might be. Yeah, looks like, once again, looks like little scenarios here. Harvest Moon Festival, Massacre on the Road, the cottage industry, the farm, traveling menagerie. Okay. Yeah, this looks very unique. I will point that out. It does look very, very unique. The room. More of these. So like forest, the den, the hunt, the storm. Cool. And then let's see if I was right. Let's see if these are kind of like city events. Blood feud, murder investigation, the gathering, the heist. Yeah, probably the swordmaster, the uprising. Huh. Okay, so we got those. Now we still have 2 decks of the regular sized cards, traditional sized cards. Let's see what we got in these. I'm a big fan of Greenbrier Games. Their titles, from Apocalypse to Apocalypse 2 to Heavy Steam. Then we've got Folklore of the Affliction. I'm a fan of Greenbrier Games because their games really have they're dripping in theme. Every time you play one of their games outside of, okay, Ninja Dice, you're going to have a story that you can tell. Sometimes the rule presentation is a little difficult to make your way through, but if you just devote a little time to understanding the rules, they pay off. Vengeance, that's another game that just came out that I thought was pretty interesting. Okay, so we've got like a dead tree here. So are these items? Oh, these might be abilities. Magi, mercenaries, knights, shaman, valkyries. Well, maybe not. Maybe these are... They all have the same back. Maybe these are assets. Lucky coin, spirit totem, primordial crown, the dragon's scales. Huh. Call the storm, heal. Yeah, so it looks like it's pretty wild. Each of the characters you might actually go through and grab some starting equipment for them. But yeah, they all have the same backing. But it's from armor to, looks like you've got some, NPCs that are helping you out. Yeah, okay, so that's what this deck is here. Then we got this deck. And Light in the Darkness, All Hope is Lost, Blockade, Keeping Shadows. This is Dark Omens. So I wonder, because these look like, no, maybe not. Didn't we have Dark Omens is one of the kind of like scenario cards? Maybe not. Plague Sickness, Sacrifice. I don't know. I'm going to take a guess we might see more of these cards in this deck here. Let's find out. Let's find out. Alright, come on. There we go. Maybe not. Maybe that's all of them. Okay, so we got that. And these are all the same. So, Cursed. Looks like this is all bad stuff. Entranced. Addiction. Yeah, these are all bad. Madness. So these are afflictions, no doubt, that your characters could possibly end up having. Poisoned. Okay, so that's that. Now, what's in these? Okay, so these are the creatures. Yep, there we go. These are the different creatures. Yeah, pretty impressive artwork. Really dig the artwork. So it looks like it's going to tell us, I don't know, maybe this is defense, maybe this is attack, and the bottom is health. That's my guess. And then it's going to say, okay, what's their special ability down at the bottom? Cool. The Skinwalker. Yep. Hey, I was right. It is undead. The Undead Horde. Yeah, there's quite a lot. Ah, there we go. There's the Werewolf Pack. There's Werebears. Wereboars. Hey, I got part of that right before. I said, hey, look, it's some sort of a boar creature. Primal Spirits. Huh. Yeah, there's quite a lot of these. Quite a few. Like I said, my understanding was that there were over 30. Alright, so the last thing we're going to take a look at is, let's see if we can get the game board. This game board doesn't look like it's too large. I don't know. I don't know just yet. Get some of these cards out of the way. Let's see. Pull it out. Yep, it's only one side to it. Alright, come on. So, this is the map here. I don't think I can zoom out any further, though. Nope, that's as far as I can zoom out. So, as we can see, there's some indicators here. There you go. So, like, there's a city, there's forest, there's the windmill, there's the underground. This is the top portion of the game board. So you're looking at, I would take a guess that when you enter each of these locations, you're going to draw a card whose backing corresponds with that. Then, this is the bottom of the board. We've got some more locations here. Some sort of a health tracker. I don't know. Maybe that's group health. Then it looks like we've got like a little campfire symbol. Okay, so it tells us the wilds, the hollows. Oh, okay, so that's the realm. The windmill represents the realm, and the capital is the one that looks like the castle. All right. Well, there's a lot in here. Just double checking that there's nothing underneath the insert. I highly doubt there is. Nope. But sometimes, especially games that have miniatures, you're like, where are the miniatures? And you pull it up and they're all underneath. Okay, so we've got the various decks of cards of various sizes. Let's do that. Then we've got these other cards. We got these big ones here. I don't know. Is that wide enough? I guess they're going to go here. Yep. Looks like I can put these on top. All right. Then we've got the stands for the standees. We have, are there 5 of these? 4, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, 6. So we've got the 6 sheets of counters and tokens. And the map. Tossing the baggies there. Got the map, and then we've got the Game World book, as well as the revised rule book. And that is all we'll find, all those goodies, when we take Of Dreams and Shadows outside the box. So it looks pretty interesting, I have to admit. Kind of cool. I have no idea how the game works. So I have not played it. I have not delved into this much at all, even like news items or anything like that. I haven't even read through a lot of sell sheet stuff. But I can tell you it is for 2 to 6 players. Plays in about 2 to 3 hours. It is a dark fantasy theme, so it's for ages 14 and up, and it carries an MSRP of $59.95. I am going to hope to try to see if I can get this to the table this weekend and play it this weekend. Everything's all depending on what the cardiologist has to say. I can't even drive right now. I'm not cleared to drive. Otherwise, I would have been covering Adepticon this weekend, but because I'm not allowed to drive, I didn't, which stinks because I was really looking forward to covering that for the first time ever. But anyway, so yes, I am hoping to get Of Dreams and Shadows to the table this weekend, check it out, play a few games, and maybe next week be able to do a review. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, probably within a couple of weeks. All right, so that is today's show. So once again, I want to say, if you're not watching The Daily Dope, be sure to swing on over to thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill by now. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. I will be back tomorrow. So until then, thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your Monday.